Hi, I'm John Corvino. Sometimes people ask me, John, where does morality come from? And I always tell them, Cleveland. It comes from Cleveland. I joke about this because the question strikes me as odd. Asking where morality comes from makes it sound like a package left at your front door rather than an active process. Okay, they say, but surely there's some source for morality. What's the foundation? And the simple answer to that question is, well, there is no simple answer. It's the kind of thing philosophers have debated for centuries. Those who think that there's a simple answer are happy to tell you, God, morality comes from God. Okay, but none of us is God. And frankly, this is one reason why I don't like debating pastors. It's not that I have anything against pastors. It's that it's too easy for them to set up this contrast where here's what John Corvino says about this issue, and here's what God says about the issue. Well, I have a PhD in philosophy. But God is omniscient. I just can't win that debate. And so I have to remind people that we are all human beings here trying to get at the truth. Different people have very different ideas about what God requires. And history teaches us that trying to figure that out can sometimes be a bloody process. Just ask the Irish. I recognize that some people think that without the Bible or some other religious text, we could never figure out what's right and wrong. I think that they've got it exactly backwards. Without some independent sense of right and wrong, how would we know that the Bible or the Quran or the Book of Mormon were morally plausible? The point is that believing in an infallible God does not make anyone infallible, and that all of us, believers and non-believers of various stripes, need to engage this process. Sometimes we'll find common ground and we can build out from there. Sometimes we don't, and then we have to talk about where we differ and why. The main thing is to approach that dialogue with humility. Now, some people, of course, have the opposite problem. Instead of being overconfident in their moral convictions, they're underconfident. They say, well, these are my beliefs, but you have your beliefs, and morality is a private matter, and we shouldn't judge one another. And whenever people tell me we shouldn't judge one another, I like to introduce a technical philosophical term. Bullshit. It's bullshit. I mean, what does it mean? Does it mean we shouldn't go around wagging our fingers in people's faces? Well, of course. Nobody likes a know-it-all. But does it mean that we should never make moral judgments about what other people are doing? Isn't that part of being a morally responsible adult in the world? And sometimes my fellow liberals say the most incoherent things around this. They say, morality is a private matter, so you ought to show equal respect toward LGBT people. Morality is a private matter, so you ought to endorse marriage equality. Morality is a private matter, so you ought to... I'm like, wait a second. If morality is a private matter, why do you keep telling us what to do? Well, maybe because it's not really a private matter. In fact, it's the opposite. It's about how we treat one another. It's about fairness. It's about justice. And these are the kinds of things that should concern everyone, conservative and liberal, religious and non-religious, gay and straight. This is especially important when we recognize how many people have tried to use morality as a weapon. Think about all of the kids who have been bullied or kicked out of the house by their own families because people say, your lifestyle is wrong. Now, I think that's terrible. I think it's morally wrong. But in order for me to be able to say that, I need to be able to invoke moral language, to engage moral argument, to offer moral reasons. So please, don't be afraid to make moral judgments. Sometimes it's morally urgent for us to do so. Just remember to do so thoughtfully and with humility.